There are many things that are crucial to have for off-grid living. A good water source, a well-built shelter, maybe even some space for gardening, but there's nothing more important than the outhouse. If you're new to the channel, welcome. For those who've been watching from the beginning, you know we've been working over a year to build our dream getaway in the Alaskan wilderness. But what you may not know is for that entire year, we have not had a proper outhouse. That may leave you thinking, well, where did they? I'm going to stop those thoughts right there by saying my girls are hardcore.
Right here. Maybe close-ish to that trail, but
Yeah,
a few feet off.
that'd be good.
Snow machining.
This outhouse build itself was a long 10 months in the making. When we were out of the property in May, we were able to dig the hole for the outhouse. Our property is miles away from the nearest road with no reasonable way to get digging equipment out there. We were left to only our trusty shovel and some muscle.
Oh, yes.
Though it's a lot of work, there's something very satisfying about relying on fairly simple tools and your own strength. We used an old 55-gallon drum with the top and bottom cut off to help hold the shape of the hole, allowing any liquids to drain out the bottom. While we were there in the summer, I also set a couple of beams to act as the foundation for our future outhouse. When we returned this winter, we found our outhouse hole buried under 3 feet of snow. Nothing in Alaska comes easy, because if it was, everyone would live here.
How deep is that hole?
One of the goals for this outhouse was to build it as cheap as possible. All of the framing materials were salvaged off the old cabin. One thing I've learned so far in this project is battery-powered tools will work when it's negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit, but not very well. So back to the trusty hammer and nails. Well, shoot. If this would have happened a few weeks later, I would have given up on that tape measure forever. Fortunately for me, this pit was still empty.
Come on, 7th grade hacky sack, Aaron, you can do it. Yes. So a few mistakes I made a couple weekends ago when I came out here and started this. I knew my blocks weren't level, but then I attached my foundation right to that. And so forgot to level it, so came through and got that leveled. with that. Also, this back piece here was planned to be the top where the seat sits on top of, and I put it significantly too high. So, important tip for an outhouse is it's okay if the seat is a little bit too low. However, if your feet are dangling, that's not a good thing. So, have to move this back piece, gonna drop it down a ways, and then we can keep moving forward. Whoa.
Don't fall in.
Don't fall in. Alright, so now I think I'm happy with that. Total wall height. It's just shy of 7 feet. So we should probably do that one about 8 feet.
Building a wall without having a level space large enough to fit the wall makes it much harder. I hope you enjoy this clip of me riding the struggle bus.
That was graceful.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, you full of grace.
Full of grace. Perfect. Set my hammer down somewhere real good. There it is. Oh.
This one's marked like you're doing studs on it. Is this one fine to use?
Yeah. That was from probably 2 projects ago when we did the floor.
There are a few things I've learned from putting my builds on YouTube. 1. There's more than one way to build anything. And 2. There's many experts out there that will tell you that your way is wrong. So here's your chance. Hop down in those comments below and let me have it.
Hello. I search for the call to you.
What the heck? Why? Why do I suck? I cut my board too short. Well, that board's worthless. Must have seen a different line somewhere. We'll spread that. That's not even measurement. Alright, here's my line. Nothing sketchy going on here. OSHA approved.
A shed roof like this is the easiest roof to build. Just cut your rafter boards to include the overhang you want. Set the boards on top of the wall and use a 2x4 to describe the top of the bird's mouth cut. Then draw the vertical line following the lower edge of the wall. Once you have one rafter that fits, just use that one as a template for the rest.
A bit of an emergency. All the friends are here to stay. The outhouse isn't done. So we got all hands on deck. Getting ready. Those two are the 19s.
There's the 19s that need to go back.
Yep, those should go back. It's a government job. The one person.
Do you care if this is level?
You can just line up with that one in the back.
Yeah.
And you're good.
All right. You just want me to toenail it? Is that all you want?
Yeah.
wanted to.
Oh, now you want to do two.
I think we want to do two for the lack of warpage.
We had a few weekends of brutally cold temperatures and a couple rounds of winter illness, so the door was built in the warmth of our shop. Siding the outhouse with rough sawn wood from our sawmill was not the fastest way to go, but it was cheaper than plywood, and I think it looks a lot better. I used some spring-loaded gate hinges on the door. This made it so we didn't need a latch on the outside of the door to keep it closed when we were away.
fairly snow tight, but not necessarily watertight. That's for another day, though.
Now to finish off the seat for good. I had previously added another section of barrel to the outhouse. This section is attached to the outhouse and helps keep the wildlife out and everything else in. When it comes to outhouse seats, there are many options. There is the no seat option. Just cut the hole and you're good to go. For this method, I would at least recommend sanding the edges a little. You can go with the cheap toilet seat option. It also has the advantage of the top lid that covers the hole. Then there's the Alaskan seat. I'm not sure what kind of magic is going on with the styrofoam, but the instant you sit down on this stuff, it's warm. By far the best option in my opinion, but don't take my word for it. Just a few things left to button up on this much needed upgrade at the off-grid property. For the roof, I used pieces left over from the cabin roof. I just overlapped them like shingles. It should do the trick. Some of you watching may be thinking living with an outhouse is pretty rough. The cold walk in the middle of the night is really the worst part. Other than that, it sure beats the headache of dealing with frozen pipes, clogged septic tanks, and all the other issues that come with indoor plumbing. It's also very inexpensive to build. The only things I paid for specifically for this project were the hinges, toilet seat, light, and some screws, totaling about $75. All the wood was salvaged from the old cabin or milled on our sawmill. If I add a little exterior stain, this outhouse should last us a lifetime.
Ooh, that's nice.
We may need to dig a new hole at some point, but we can just move this building over the new hole and we'll be good to go.
Well, that concludes the most important build we've done so far to date. I share a lot with you all on YouTube, but this one I'm going to go alone. See you on the next one.